this recording, I'm going to show you how to do rules 4, 5, and 6. Rule number 4 is syllabifying when you have 3 consonants and the last 2 form a cluster. So we have, for example, the word from our notes, hombre, consonant, vowel, consonant, 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 vowel. Remember, in the future, we will not be transcribing that letter because it doesn't form a sound. But for this lesson, we will treat it that way. We have 3 consonants here, rule number 3. Let's see if BR forms a cluster. This is a cluster, BR. Make sure you refer to the notes. So I'm going to put a line under there. And if you remember, looking at the notes, rule number 4, 3 consonants where the last 2 forms a cluster. So here's what we have. I'm going to go from the first vowel to the last vowel and analyze the 3 consonants. And therefore, I'm going to divide it down the middle after the first consonants. And this is how I will then transcribe the word. The second word that I have there on the notes for regla número 4 is saldrá, consonant, vowel, consonant, 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 vowel. I have 3 consonants here. I have to look at the D and the R. Do those last 2 form a cluster? Yes, they do. So I'm going to underline that C just to remind myself, and then when I refer to the rule, I'll know that that's what it's referring to vowel, 3 consonants. I divide before the cluster. Remember, the consonant simply attaches itself to the floating consonant attaches itself to that first vowel. And here is that. Okay. Rule number 5 is the combination of 3 consonants without a cluster. So that is going to mean that when we have 3 consonants in a row, we're going to divide them after the first 2 consonants. Again, there is no cluster involved here. Looking at the notes, the word that I use is transporte. When I analyze that, I am going to do consonant, consonant, vowel, consonant, 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 vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel. I will then go through any of my double consonants to see if I have any clusters. This is a cluster, TR. I have them memorized. You should have the list in front of you. I have SP is not a cluster in Spanish. It is in English, so watch out for that. So I'm not going to underline anything. RT does not form a cluster. So now I'm going to analyze the information between vowels. Any other consonants hanging in front of them is just going to be attached to that first vowel. I have 3 consonants then. None are clusters. Therefore, I'm going to divide it after the first 2 consonants. Then I do this. This is going back to rule number 2. Actually, this is rule number 3 because I don't have a cluster. Rule number 3 was vowel, consonant, consonant, vowel, 2 consonants without a cluster. And so I'm going to divide it down the middle. Now I'm going to simply recopy everything according to that transcription. The other word that I have here is instante. Instante. Copy down consonants and vowels, or label all your vowels and consonants. You might need to have all the rules next to you to understand or remember what all these are. Is ST a cluster? Not in Spanish. Is NT a cluster? No. I'm not going to underline anything, and therefore I can go now and start analyzing my information. Vowel to vowel, 3 consonants. That's my rule number 5. I'm going to divide it after the 2 consonants. Vowel to vowel, I don't have a cluster. It's going to be divided right down the middle. Therefore, I can now transcribe using that. And rule number 6 is one step more. It's when we have 4 consonants in a row. And that is the last one dealing with consonants. It's vowel, consonant, 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 vowel. For consonants, this is always going to be a cluster, and it's going to be divided between the two that way. My model that I have here is instrucciones. Oh, no, it's just instrucción. I'm going to now label my consonants and vowels. We know that now we have 4 consonants here. I'm going to analyze information between the 2 vowels. I know that this is going to be a cluster. TR is a cluster. I'm going to go to my next one, vowel to vowel. CC is not a cluster. I'm going to ignore now the double vowels right here, and the C is just going to hang out there. Excuse me. We copy down everything here. We will deal with what to do with 2 vowels in the next chapter. And the other word that I have is similar to instrucción. It's obstrucción. Label your vowels and consonants. Find any clusters. Well, it's always a dead giveaway when you have 4 consonants in a row that this will be a cluster right here. CC does not make a cluster. Now I can do my analysis of vowel to vowel, rule number 6. I'm going to divide the 4 consonants right in half. This is rule number 3 again, and everything else stays the same. And we have transcribed now up to rule number 6.